Karch, first and foremost, thanks as always for sitting down with us. Appreciate it. Want to start off with a broader question, but just what differences have you noticed with this group and the time that you started spending with them back in the spring up until where we are right now?
I got to give a lot of credit to the guys. We're throwing a lot at them in terms of changing lineups regularly and adjusting to different people around them. We did try to acclimate them to plenty of that in practice in Anaheim, where we did not have a lot of fixed lineups, and throwing a lot at them in terms of the sophistication and the level of knowledge that we're hoping to build to prepare for the next opponent. And it's a very fast process when you have 4 matches in 5 days. So day 1, preparing for China, flush that, prepare for Canada the next day, have a little day off, and now we're gonna again have this accelerated process, prepare for Poland, get to know them as best we can, and then Italy. And so credit to the guys. They have never looked overwhelmed and have really handled both the changes around them and the changes from the very quick changes from opponent to opponent.
Karch, have you noticed any differences in your coaching style? Are you playing maybe more psychologist than you are X's and O's guy? And has that changed from when you started with this team until now?
I think we're all still trying to figure it out. We have a new staff with assistant coaches Luca Slave and Javi Weber, and so we're figuring each other out too, especially in terms of rhythm of things during a match. We practiced a little, got some practice in scrimmages when we went early to scrimmage with the Brazilian national team before week 1 down in Rio. And so it's a process of familiarization both for every coach and staff member and for every player. But for me, especially having Luca as our offensive coordinator, Javi as essentially our defensive coordinator, leaving a little more of the X's and O's to them and a little more for me in terms of mentality, in terms of helping people, and they've been doing a nice job of it, of just being present and not to be too overwhelmed, especially a lot of people are on their first ever VNL experience and carrying a really big responsibility and load. This is USA this year, and so there's nobody coming in to take over. This is the group, and I'm really excited for that responsibility for this team, and they've been handling it well.
That's exactly where I wanted to go next, because we have so many young guys, some coming straight from the NCAA system, right into competing on such a high level, and that's got to be a credit to you and your coaching staff as well to get these guys ready to play. But they're not just coming in for one set here and there, they're contributing. What has that whole process been like to get them ready? And you've got to be super proud seeing the fruits of that labor right out there on the court.
I think the thing I'm really impressed with, and the guys can feel proud of, is that it hasn't always gone well. Maybe an example was first match here against China. Cooper Robinson came in, and it was certainly not the best outing he's ever had. He had a tough one a little bit against Cuba in week 1. The nice response that Cooper had against Canada yesterday was a tribute to a very different experience. When you're in college and you're one of the dominant players, you're going to have very few times where it's going to be a real, like where people across the net are really going to stress and challenge you and make you uncomfortable. And so the guys who've done the best in the college game are acclimated to so much success that I'm impressed when they have a little less of it, but they respond so positively. That's just one example, but it's an adjustment to, and working your way to the national team is a big adjustment, because every guy here was the guy with his college team, with his club team, with his high school team, like absolutely the man. It's a lot of cold water in the face and a big learning opportunity, and most people have people have been embracing that as the learning opportunity that it is.
At the time of us speaking, 2 wins under your belt this week at VNL Chicago. 2 very different matches. What are you looking forward to continuing, to building off of from little parts of the play from both of those matches that you want to see not only for the rest of this week of VNL, but moving forward for the rest of VNL this year?
Probably the number one takeaway from the China match, it started really smoothly and easily. And then China responded back and punched us around for a bit in sets 2 and 3. We tried some different things, and eventually not only are we coaches trying different solutions, but our players are being very much problem solvers on the court, and they figured out some great solutions. We're figuring out reception patterns and have some different possibilities, and the guys did a great job of finding the solutions that were needed to beat China and win in 5. And I don't mind playing extra. We beat Canada in 3, but I was thinking near the end of that set, when Canada had at least 1 set point, you know what, I would be okay with going 4. The more volleyball that this young group can get, it's not a bad thing. So as it turns out, we finished it in 3. And that in itself is good, to be involved in these close sets, 26 all, 27 all. And that's really good experience for some people who haven't done that a lot at the highest level, the world elite international level with VNL, Volleyball Nations League. So, but I will also say or concede that China and Canada are not Poland and Italy. And so we have a big step up in terms of competition. Essentially a couple of the leading teams, along with Brazil, very high up in the standings, have done a lot of winning and very little losing. And so we've got our work cut out for us. And I'm excited to, again, throw some different lineups out. We'll have some patience with those lineups, but if they're not working, then we will be willing to look for different solutions. And really, we're all excited to be tested more than we have been yet on VNL, because Poland and Italy are 2 of the really elite teams in this tournament, even though Poland does not have many of their best guys here. It's a tribute to the depth of their program. They might have a combination of their 2nd and 3rd tier guys, and they barely, they lost 15-11, I think, in the tiebreak to Italy. Otherwise, they'd be undefeated right now without many of their top guys, but with a lot of really good young players. Italy is gnarly. They've got so many of their guys from a team that was very close, was on the path to winning an Olympic medal last year, until losing to France in the semifinals, the eventual winner, and then losing to USA in the bronze medal match. But Italy is absolutely a force. They've got so many great guys on their national team, and their league is one of the best in the world, so they get tested often. We are going to be very, very tested, and it'll be great for us no matter what the result is.
Well, we will always take watching more volleyball, especially at this level. It's been fun so far. Karch, we thank you for sitting down with us today. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks so much.